I'm Jennifer, and we're at home in Temple, Texas, living our well-traveled life.
So we are at what is about to be the new Bold Republic Brewing Company with Adriane Hodges. Patrick is out doing box truck stuff right now. So we're going to talk to Adriane about the opening of this new brew pub. It's hard to see the old restaurant go, but really exciting to have a new location. How did the genesis of this building come about because of the old building?
Well, we actually started the project before COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then everything came to a grinding halt. COVID shut down our business. So we were like, what are we gonna do? You pivot. So we used our individual can steamer to self-distribute our cans to customers through 4-packs. I mean, it was Patrick and I up at the bar laying out towels. Liz was talking to and helped out all the time with that. And it was the support of customers that kept us surviving. Allstott Brewery, who we met through the Captain Jack project, gave us cans when we ran out. You know, you couldn't get aluminum. You couldn't get anything. And then you're worried you're going to die, or somebody was going to die the whole time. It was just crazy. And then reopening, you were faced with a lose-lose situation. You don't care enough about COVID and sanitation. You are trying to take away my rights. So if anything, I would say it taught us, it reinforced something in us, is we're terribly apolitical people. We support local charities, our community. We care about local politics probably for the most part, but anything else beyond that, it's like we're a welcoming place. We believe in inclusiveness, and that's about it. Like we're not trying to tell anybody how to do anything.
Adriane, I have to tell you a funny thing. I go back in my phone and I look at messages with Patrick over the years, literally. And in 2015, I have a message that I sent to him and I said, hey, I really need to connect you with John Keela. He's got some business ideas I think you'd be really excited about. And Patrick writes back and he says, hey, we're about to have a baby. I'm in Virginia living on the beach, but I miss my home in Belton. We'll talk later.
Yeah.
Where are you now?
So the Keelas found us. We found the Keelas. I think we found them, but it was just a partnership that worked out really well. Where we ended up, there was an idea that was very similar to what we were looking for, that the space had been designed for. And they said, hey, check this out. And here we are, completion in 2022. And Keela's been great. I mean, we started the process before a pandemic that stopped everything. It hasn't been an easy road for us. It hasn't been an easy road for them, dealing with all of the delays, the contractors, the supply chain issues. But they have really, and big shout out to Clay Carlson, the project manager. I'm here every day. I mean, Saturday, Sunday, Patrick's here. We're like checking on this place. He is too. Like, he cares like it's his own place. So we couldn't be happier with Keela. They do. I mean, look around. It's beautiful. They've done a great job.
Yeah.
We had Heart of Texas Landscaping come in and they put in all those plants, I think 6 live oaks. Mm-hmm. But one of our customers started like a little Bold Republic nursery for us too when we didn't know we were getting anything. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna plant a lot more stuff, all native plants. I'm on the Belton Chamber Board of Directors. Very small town feel, even though it's growing so rapidly and there's so much economic growth in Belton, it has not lost its charm and that look out for each other kind of feeling. It was, when I was a teacher, they say like grow where you're planted. That's always what they said, like whatever school you're at. And I feel like we really got to grow where we were planted in Belton. It was such a good place, and I don't think we'd be here if it weren't for Belton. And this is such a great area in this region too, because here we sit in BISD. My kid's school is at BISD Lakewood with a Temple address. You cross the road, you're in Belton this way, Morgan's Point that way, Temple here. So again, that's my advantage as an outsider. So it's like everyone's been good to us. We don't really have any rivalry, and it's just not something in our industry. Like we can have fun and laugh about it with like Mary and Grayson and Rod, from, picking on each other. But at the end of the day, it's just a lot of love.
How have your expenses changed since you started the project?
Shipping and cost of goods. Everything has risen. So shipping, for example, on the brewing equipment, we had 3 cargo containers coming in. The initial quote was for $4,000 a piece, total of $12,000. What it ended up being was $25,000. So $75,000 in shipping versus $12,000. And these beautiful doors went up by 300%.
The cost of the doors themselves.
So because we started the project before COVID, and that's when we got the ball rolling to the time everything was bid, and then it had to be put out to bid again closer to everything actually happening. And Keel's been great to work with us on all of this, but we had to go back and ask for more money to get the project finished. It's not easy to build in 2022. If you're planning on doing it, take your budget, and I would honestly say double it, just to be on the safe side.
Boulder Public and Belton has been such a great launch pad, but we had growing pains from day one. So everything we loved about the old girl, we brought in a sense of community where everybody feels welcome, kids, grandparents, dogs, you name it. Like, it's a community driven place, and we wanted that same thing. Funkiness, we like to keep it weird, whether it's our art or our styles of beer. You know, we are constantly switching things up. And just our passion for craft industry and an amazing staff. Those things you can't replace, so they're all coming with us.
Awesome.
But changing, I would say there's more change than there is same.
Okay, talk us through it.
So, I'll start outside. We have a commercial playground, nice place for kids, and we have a green space. We were in a concrete jungle, so getting over 2 acres of land was really important to us. Second, a covered patio. If it rains, you can still be outside and enjoy it in their shade from the wonderful Texas sun that we had a lot of all summer. Full commercial kitchen. It gives us the versatility to cook the food we want to, not the food we had to.
Right.
32 taps, and 8 of them being wine taps, just things that we couldn't do because we were so confined with space.
Why is the wine so important to you?
Well, we like to feature local wine. We'll have Moose and Goose on tap here. And I think because sometimes people are intimidated by the idea of craft beer. And if you like craft beer and somebody else likes wine, they have options for everybody. You don't have to be like a craft beer expert to come into a brewery. And I think that's the misconception. Like, it's not all IPAs. We have easy drinkers, you know, and if you don't like IPAs, okay. Like, go find something you like, and it might be wine.
Yeah, exactly.
It might be a beer Slurpee.
Yeah.
It's like if you were taking your family somewhere, what would you want? And you put that kind of thought into every decision, I guess, and hope it turns out well.
Right. Okay, so keep going with our tour of change.
Yeah. The biggest change is in the brewing area. Currently we have a manual electric 3.5 barrel brew house, which sounds very technical, but I'll just put it this way. If you made coffee in a single current cup, we're moving up to like a big percolator that you would have at a hotel. So we can make a lot more brew, as it were, at a time. With a lot more ease of automation. It'll allow us to make more beer. It'll allow us to start distributing beer finally, which is a huge thing. Everyone's like, where else can I get Boulder Public? And we could only make enough to serve our tap room. So now we'll be able to send beer out regionally, and that's a big deal for us.
Yeah.
Very cool thing also in the brewing area is joining Patrick is Matt Benavidez. He has been a brewer at Austin Beer Works for 10 years. On this exact same size system, and we somehow were blessed enough by the gods to get somebody with the equivalent of a Harvard MBA in brewing to come in and help us out as we get started. So he'll be our lead brewer.
That's amazing.
Huge pedigree right there. So we're looking forward to making lots of fantastic beers and doing it a lot more efficiently so we can focus on things that we couldn't do, like lab work, yeast cultivating, kind of taking ourselves to the next level in the brewing world. And we'll have the freedom to do that. Lots of bathrooms, that's a huge one. One bathroom at the old Boulder Public. Jonathan can attest the men's room is cool, I won't give it all away. And the women's room has 4 toilets, so 4 stalls. That's no more having to do the potty dance.
Exactly.
In a hot, sweaty hallway. All these lovely air conditioning vents that blow down everywhere in here. It's nice and chilly.
Yeah.
So,
And we won't be a full bartender here. Like the way we're doing everything is QR codes on the table.
Okay.
So you can order your food from the menu, you can order drinks from your phone, and somebody will bring it to you. This way you've got 2 people behind the bar pouring drinks. Everybody comes out and has like their little area to be your personal bartender.
Sure.
Answer any questions you have. Better customer experience.
So you've got these great garage doors so that you can open up and have this indoor-outdoor atmosphere, but you've also done something really special outside to help maintain the indoors.
So every garage door, we have 4 of them here in the tap room. They all open up and they have an air curtain, just like you would have at HEB or walking into a major store. So it keeps the cold air on this side and the elements outside, including bugs, things like that. It's a big deterrent for flies and things that come into the tap room. So we're pretty excited about this.
That's a really big deal.
What to keep the critters on their side of the air curtain.
Right?
The kitchen, we have, I mean, huge Venta-Hood, dishwasher, deep fryer, commercial range griddle. I'm gonna forget a lot, but the cuisine has changed. It will be large fresh salads, low country coastal brunch we'll offer on the weekends. Food where I'm from, which is the Chesapeake Bay, so crab cakes, she crab soup, shrimp and grits, kind of, I guess seafood is the version of beef from where I grew up. So a lot more seafood on the menu. Don't worry, we'll still have a burger, it's delicious. But things that when I moved here, kind of missed being able to find outside of Austin. I'd like to have that, and I'm sure other people have felt that pain too. So stuff that's great from Texas we'll have, and stuff maybe from somewhere else.
Adriane, I think it is that wonderful thing that comes when people from the outside come live here, and you bring your best to this region.
I grew up in a big melting pot area because it had a huge Navy base on it, so you had Filipino culture, everything, and it was just normal. It's normal to you. You're like, I want pancit today, and people are like, what's pancit? It's like, don't you know? We don't live here. So I'd like people to feel that way about she crab soup. It's your new addiction. And, it's not healthy, but it's lovely, and you'll want more and more of it.
I'm not a chef. I'm a cook. I would say confidently I'm a good cook. Like I'm not gonna have false modesty. I love cooking. I cook every single meal in our house. I usually cook a few meals a day. And I cook food from where I'm from. Like, do what you know, be authentic. Like, I probably can't grill a steak as good as any Texan or make their chili, but I can make she crab soup and shrimp and grits. That's my kind of thing. And that's what we'll be serving here. And I couldn't do it alone. I have a great kitchen team that's been holding down the fort at Boulder Public, and we'll be bringing on more people too. So. Yeah.
We have been doing interviews with different restaurants around the world, and it's been really fascinating to hear the commonality of experience in different countries. And overwhelmingly, the one thing we hear, good people, family-owned restaurants, great places, and they can't find staff. Are you having that problem?
I think everybody is, 100%. We cling to our staff really well. Like, this is an industry with high turnover, and you'll notice our staff has not turned over for quite a while. They know how much we care about them, and we know how much they care about us. Like, they want to see us achieve this dream. They're a part of it, and they know they're a part of it. And nothing would make us happier than to get to the level where we are a brewery that's like the ones we look up to, where we can start offering like full health benefits, paid vacation leave, or living wage for everybody. And we try to get as close to that mark as we can for everybody. And I think we will get there. It's going to take us a few years, but they know that's a goal for us too. Finding new people, for us, it is hard. The excitement of this place has had more people apply, but it's always, will they fit with the team we've got? Because like if you're going to marry into our crew, we really are like a big family. I actually let my staff conduct the interviews for this place because I thought, you're the ones who are going to be working together and training each other and this and that on that level. And I've had to take my hands off stuff and just trust that I've got the right people. And I have a really talented team. But we'll probably always be hiring to some degree. interestingly, everybody wants to work in the brewing area. It's like it's like cool thing or something. And I'm like, you should look at job satisfaction like surveys in our industry. The most satisfied employees are front of the house.
How do you and Patrick do this with 4 kids?
If you put it all down on paper, what we've done since we opened in 2018, we moved from Virginia. I had just had a baby 4 months ago. Started teaching at a new school in Gerald. We worked that whole year, got the brewery open by 2018. Within 3 months, I had a massive hemorrhagic stroke. Started a new job with a 4-month-old baby when we first moved to Texas. Within that year, opened the brewery, had a massive stroke, started the Captain Jack project. My mom was diagnosed with cancer right after my stroke. For our 1-year anniversary, I was missing because I was getting my mom well enough to fly her back to live with me on hospice. She died at the end of that summer. Oh Lord, we're up to 2019. Pandemic hits. I lost my uncle to cancer, my sister, my grandmother to COVID, had another pregnancy and a baby, had half my thyroid removed. It's like if there's not something big going on top of everything else, I think maybe they say God gives you what you can handle, and I do really well under pressure. So like, you got it. If it's going too well, you know, I might get lazy or something. You just got to keep it high stakes. And that same year, we started the Captain Jack project, which is a really big thing for us that they just broke ground on in DC. So it's been cool to be a part of that.
So let's explain to people who may not know who Captain Jack is and what his legacy was.
For me, he was Dad. My dad was the first officer killed in the Gulf War, buried at Arlington. So it was like, when he died, front page in magazines, newspapers. I was only 8. And he was a great guy. Just a great guy. Went, served, sacrificed. Horrible for us as a family, but kind of one of those when life gives you lemons. And I think that's my personality, is I learn from example. So instead of throwing a pity party, it's like, what can I do to give back? I saw that they were building a fundraising for a memorial in DC on the National Mall to honor the Gulf War, which people might not realize, especially younger people, changed the way we treat the military in this country. Vietnam was a horrible, dark era where people did not say thank you for your service to our military. And it wasn't until the Gulf War that we went in, liberated Kuwait efficiently and quickly with minimal casualties, that people started putting up yellow ribbons, and it restored our country's sense of patriotism and respect for the military. And it goes overlooked constantly. People just think we say this, and they don't even know what drives it. And it was the Gulf War.
Support our troops.
That's all from the Gulf War.
Was not part of our lexicon before the Gulf War.
Exactly right. And we owe a debt of gratitude to the veterans, to people who didn't come back, to honor them. A war shouldn't have to kill a ton of people for it to matter. It's the most successful war because it didn't. And it accomplished its mission very quickly. So when I had an opportunity to say, hey, I'd like to help fundraise by brewing a beer and donating the money and getting other breweries to brew this beer and share the recipe, it was a really cool way to give back. And I met so many people through it. I've met friends of my dad's that I probably knew when I was tiny. But it's been a really great experience, other brewers, everything. So they still have a ways to go. The nation of Kuwait has been the biggest financial supporter of the memorial. They broke ground in July, and they're hoping to have it completed and open in 2 Veterans Days. Like 2 years. So 2024 Veterans Day. It's a lot of work with the National Park Service. Everything that you do in DC has to, the board of directors, they're all volunteers, they're amazing, but it's been a cool experience. So I get really worried about all of that.
That's wonderful.
I'm very passionate about it. Like, for me, we're all gonna die. So drink beer and be happy and do good in life. That's the best way I can put it, is leave the world a little bit better than you found it. I think my dad did that, and if in any way I can do my small part, that's what I'm driven to do. Well, coming soon to Wisconsin. Wisconsin's about to join the list. Leinenkugel, and some of you guys might be familiar with that name. Leinenkugel Brewery is brewing Captain Jack and releasing it in September.
Wow.
So that is a pretty big deal. I got a message on Facebook one day that said, please call my cell, Dick Leinenkugel. And I thought, could this be that Leinenkugel?
Right.
It turns out he was a Marine. He flew with somebody who flew with my dad.
It seems to me you guys have gotten closer through the business.
Yeah. I mean, we keep making children. I mean, I would not recommend what we are doing to anyone else. Like, this is not for the faint of heart. But it works for us. Like, it's our life. We look forward to retirement one day, but you've got to do what you can while you've got gas in the tank. We cut out of work early, Jessica and I. It was St. Patrick's Day to get a good spot at Murphy's, the Irish pub down at the Virginia Beach oceanfront. Place goes nuts. Jello shots, everything, Irish music. It's hard to get a beer, let alone a seat. We got there really early because we kind of skipped out of work. And so we're talking about taking a vacation. Texas comes up as a place, maybe going to South by Southwest. And all of a sudden, we're a few drinks deep. In comes this guy wearing a Texas button-up shirt, and he says, "You look like fun." And he probably thought we A, looked like fun, and B, it was a good opportunity to get a seat somewhere.
Right.
In a very busy place, but he's like, "Can I join you if I buy you a drink?" And we did. We were like making out by the end of the day. I mean, I won't dress it up. It is what it is. And we have pictures of it. Like, we're both housed. As you should be on St. Patrick's Day, but not drive. And that was really how we met.
Yeah.
This chance random encounter. Drinking brought us together.
So it kind of makes sense where you are now.
Yeah, and what's really funny is my parents met on St. Patrick's Day at an Irish pub.
Is
too.
that right?
So it's in the blood.
It is. Okay, I just have to say this because Patrick's not here. But I've asked Patrick that same question probably 7-8 years ago. He had the exact same story. We were tanked at an Irish bar.
Hopefully his story kept it PG-13.
I don't really think of Patrick as a PG-13 guy.
It was fun. Whatever. We want to retire one day and rescue sea turtles. That's what we really want to do. All of this is for the sea turtles. When we met, he was looking at law school, and I worked outside sales. And then he did go to law school, and I transferred with my company to Houston, and then we went to Virginia, and then back to Texas. I transitioned into teaching. He kind of didn't know what he wanted to do. He didn't want to be a lawyer. He just felt pressure to do it. And he always loved making beer, and he was good at it.
Yeah.
So we'd visit little neighborhood breweries, and it was like, why can't I do this? And so when we moved back to Texas, he just decided, it's what I'm going to do. It's what I'm going to do. And he went for it. And
How are the kids handling the new business?
they love it. They're like, oh, we're good. They ask questions all the time, like, can I work at the brewery? And I'm like, yes. I hope they do take it over. I think it would be a great future career for anyone.
Family business, right?
Yeah. They'll have the keys to the kingdom one day. But they love the playground, really, let's be honest.
How does your marriage survive business?
I mean, you would think it would be like this horrible thing, but when you work with your best friend and like you've married the right person, don't get me wrong, we'll gripe at each other, but like we know how to fight each other on something, and it's because we both care. Like we both have the same goal, we both want the same success. So we work together to meet that goal, and we know each other's strength and weakness. Like we know how to say, hey, you're gonna forget this, so remember that, or I'm not a very physically strong person. My husband fortunately is. There are things I'm not good at, and there are things he's not good at, and there are things that we're both great at. So we meet where we can to combine forces, and then we go off in our own directions. That's why we had to get a brewery, okay? Because my garage was keezer after keezer after keezer. I think at one time we had 14 beers on tap in my garage. And it was like the two of us could not drink it all. We didn't have enough friends to drink it all. It was like, I think this might have gone from a hobby to an actual real career possibility. That's when you start saying, I mean, it's like our daughter. She can't help but create art. She's compulsive about it, and I see it. My mother was that way. I have a streak of that myself, and she does. Patrick's that way about working with his hands and making beer. He has to do something. He wouldn't have been happy as a lawyer. He's smart. He could have done it. He would have been great at it. But he's happiest when he's creating, and that's his art. You know, that's what gives him his satisfaction. So I think that's one thing where we can connect to each other. Like, it's his kitchen. It's an art form, and it really is. And I've told him since I met him, I said, you've got the Midas touch. It's something you're just really good at, and it would be a shame to waste that talent.
I'm looking at your shirt, and you're wearing somebody else's shirt. Talk about the community of beer makers and beer tenders.
Texas Beer Company, J.D. Gans, Taylor, Texas. Great place. It's a really tight-knit community. I would say it's a unique industry in that almost everyone gets along with each other. It's like a brotherhood or sisterhood. Because most people are just cool. If you need something, come pick it up from us. If we have it, we'll give it to you. Can I ask you a question? Sure. There's no secrets. It's like, how much did that cost? I'll tell you. We all want craft beer to succeed because we aren't each other's enemy or competition. Budweiser is our competition, and we don't hate on them. We joke around about it. They do too with their Super Bowl ads, but there's enough to go around for everybody. Like, our old brewery is going to become one of our friends' breweries, and that's great. Like, it's just more awareness of bringing people into our industry, so that's the good thing. With very few exceptions, most people are very cool that work in the brewing industry.
How will you know you're successful? Don't use money.
I was going to say, pay the mortgage. I think one thing we'd really like to see is hosting our first festival. We have a dream of doing a cask-aged festival where every brewery, we invite them, they take their favorite beer that you brew. Let's say it was our Captain Jack or our jalapeno cream ale. Yes. Throw it in a cask and change it. Add cocoa nibs, add fruit, add vanilla, do something to it, and then have everybody bring out their best 1 or 2 casks and let everybody vote on it for bragging rights, for nothing else. Just sheer bragging rights, and a really fun day where you get to taste great beer. And we will only do a festival in the fall or the spring because summer festivals suck.
In Temple, Texas, it's hot. A little too hot.
It's so hot. But I think that would be a great fall festival. We've been working on ideas for it. That would be a really cool thing, is to have other industry peers here serving our community and it being kind of a destination where people want to come. That would be a big deal to us.
I want to talk a little bit about your art because that is so much a part of both of your locations. But I also want to talk about what you've picked up from other people. So as you guys have been visiting other breweries or you're in your brotherhood, sisterhood community, what have you learned?
I'll combine this. I'm a fan of brewery art. It's a really cool genre. Breweries have like the coolest things everywhere. From the graphics on their shirts, that's why I wear shirts from other breweries. I'm like, this is cool, I want a piece of it. I'm a big fan, and we are fans of other beer. Things we've learned, I guess, is just you get inspiration like, wow, that was a cool beer. Could I make something like this? And then you go and try it. Like, that's really, or I like the look of their flight board, or, you know, it's any little thing, or that staff member did a really good job. I would like to pass on that training.
That's great.
Anything that you can take away that's a positive from an experience, you just want to emulate. None of us created the wheel. We have our own little brand and our own little stamp on it, but beer is beer at the end of the day, you know? There's only so many styles, so many hops, so many grains you can use. And our uniqueness is in the way we present it, the way we serve it, our attitude, our art, you know, that's like a big thing for us. So. My favorite beer depends on my mood. I mean, I tend to like sours. That would be my wheelhouse. I would say I'm more of a sour. I like the lagers, I like the Mexican lagers. I like the German fest beer. I don't like stouts that much anymore. Here's why. When I had my stroke, anything that has a strong Maillard reaction with roastiness in it, I don't drink coffee anymore either. I was a lifelong coffee drinker. All I taste is burn. So it's one of those things that's just not pleasing to my palate because I have a distorted sense of taste.
He used to brew sweet fruity beers for you.
strawberry pills
Yep,
there.
that's
That was one of his
exactly right.
first ones.
Yep.
And it's been neat to see because he's such an IPA guy and he has his stuff. And I love cooking and I love beer too. He'll lean on me for recipe development of some things that are more in my wheelhouse. And then he's got his stuff that he knows. And same thing in the kitchen, like, it's a food he really likes. He'll say, make it this way for me, make it that way for me. And he's like, that's what I want on the menu. And then other things I'm like, this is what I know how to make. It doesn't need the input. And that's how recipe development is with beers too. But definitely if there's something that has weird fruit or kind of any flavor, the chances are like 100% that Patrick and I collaborated on that recipe.
Okay.
So we redid our website. One really cool feature is the beer graveyard. It's pretty comprehensive list of every beer we've ever done. I'm sure we forgot a few. But it's a way for like our customers too to say like, bring it back from the grave. And we might, ask, what do you want to come off? Carnival games is definitely one we hear a lot. And we might put some in the graveyard for a time being, take them out, visit them. And then we have one really cool thing with the kitchen and the beer too is DoorDash is synced with our website. So when you hit order now, you'll be able to get food or beer delivered. That's really, really cool. And if you order through our website, not their app, it's free. The delivery fee is waived.
Just hopes, prayers, dreams, 20-hour days, the usual stuff that we've always done.
All right, we will be here for the opening, and congratulations.
Thank
We are
you.
so excited for you, and it has been fun to be a peripheral part of your journey and to watch this all happen.
Thank you. Yeah, we love the Grahams. We love the Grahams.
We love the Hodges.
Yes. And please come out, join us. Be patient because we're not gonna get everything right, but we're doing the best, and we really want to make everybody happy. So we hope that we can be a place for lots of happy memories in the future.
We want good things for you.
Smell good.
Yeah.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
Watch more videos of our favorite places when we're at home in Temple, Texas.